episode of the Lions Den podcast. Here, talking about what is coming up, which is the CCL final. We're finally here, guys. I mean, it's been, you know, we didn't really, jump back on a pod to talk about what happened with Apajaje, which we'll probably touch a bit on it, of course, especially how Leon had to, go on a couple weeks without seeing a lot of activity like we had planned. They made through the Ligia run, but we'll definitely talk about where the team's at. CCL final Wednesday will be the first leg, so very exciting. Big match. And then definitely just after aftermath, we'll definitely come back and talk about what happened in that game, and hopefully have a good happy ending. So thank you everybody watching us via YouTube, Periscope, on Twitter. Let us know what your thoughts are. Share in the comments, and we'll definitely share your comments on the screen and keep the conversation going. Carlos, Louis, gentlemen, how are we feeling after post elimination from Rapajaje?
Yeah, it's this is a good time to do the show because the Repechaje disaster is long enough ago that I basically can't even remember it at this point. And now the Liga MX is over with too, so everything is over with. And the only thing on the docket of any sort of importance in Fútbol Mexicano is what is coming up for León. So we are front and center. Whether the big media likes it or not, whether the other fan bases like it or not. The only important thing coming up for anything in our realm right now is León in the CCL final. So yeah, let's get to it.
Yeah, it's been a long break. It almost seems like a mini off season, but we've had plenty of soccer to watch over the past couple of weeks with Liguilla and obviously what happened yesterday. I personally don't want to talk about that. I'd rather stick to just León and this week and what we have to, because we have a big job this week. So I'd rather much stick to that topic and just try to vent as much as I can, because I'll be honest with you guys, I'm super nervous about this final. This 2-leg final. It makes me nervous.
It makes me nervous too.
Just because that means history that we have against LAFC and I'm still scarred from seeing us lose on their home turf. What was it, 2 years ago? That still hurts.
3 years ago.
3 years ago. I mean, I don't want to see it again. I hope it doesn't happen again. But man, this is the big stage. And a lot is at stake here.
Well, yeah, and like you said, it's kind of felt like a mini off season, and who knows what kind of form we're going to be on. We're going to know a lot about how these last few weeks went for León. I mean, you know how they went for LAFC, the MLS season and the US Open Cup and all that. They've had plenty of matches to play. There's no secret about what kind of form they're on, which has been kind of up and down, to be honest with you. But León, where León is going to be at is an absolute mystery right now. They've just had a couple of friendlies played behind closed doors. Nobody really knows. Yes, we technically won those, but nobody really knows how those went. Nobody's really going to know how the team is looking. And more interestingly than that, like what you were saying, Carlos, it's felt like a mini offseason, mostly in the sense that they're already talking about multiple player movements for as soon as this final is over. Like, we already know a few players who could see action in this final still, but we know will not be part of the team as soon as it is over, which for me is quite a bizarre feeling. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I mean, this is a unique situation we're in. Obviously, when you get eliminated early from Liguilla, you're going to start talking about player movements for the following season. There's nothing abnormal about that. But when you have a CCL final that you have to play, when you have the most important 2-leg series of your team's history to play before that happens, it's a very, very strange feeling. And I think that it's going to be very interesting to see, especially these players that could play a role in this final but will not be with the team after it. I don't know. That just seems very strange to me. I think that could play a role too.
Nothing official though, right? None of these transfers have been officialized by anyone. It's just rumors. It's just rumors.
Yeah,
but the one thing I did hear is that Pachuca coach Guillermo Almada was the one that confirmed Byron Castillo to Pachuca. That's all I've heard about anything like official.
And Kevin Alvarez, he said it.
The Kevin Alvarez, obviously that's a whole triangle business, right?
It's as we would As we would say in the NBA, it's a multi-team trade. Yeah.
Yeah, multi-team trades. It goes hand in hand, and I think it is crazy to talk about seeing all these possible movement. It's like, well, you guys still have a two-legged series, and it
Well,
could
that's
be.
the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like when you're talking about these movements, normally, okay, you talk about this guy's gone, and as soon as that's mentioned, okay, that guy will never suit up in a uniform for your team again. But some of these guys could play a significant role in this final. I'm wondering where their heads are going to be at, because regardless, if we make a Club World Cup, they're not going to be part of that. So they're not going to share in the prize of the title if we win it. So where are their heads going to be at? I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Definitely. Shout out to Angel on the chat saying, "I'm here for the Chivas USA slander." Also saying, "Giving up Byron is a mistake." Is it a mistake?
I disagree with that.
I disagree as well.
I can see where he's coming from, though. I
I
understand where he's
agree.
coming from.
I agree. Well, considering how heralded he was when he came in, but you just cannot waste an NFM slot on someone who isn't consistently producing. Those spots are premium. They are prime real estate on a club. And if a guy's just not producing consistently, whether it be of his own fault or not, Byron first he battled the issue of his nationality, and then he battled injury. Like his whole time here was played with off the field stuff. And maybe that's not his fault, but you just cannot devote. I mean, that they're reducing the NFM slots down to 7 now. Like you need to get the absolute most you can out of those 7 slots. And if one of them isn't producing, well, you have to move on from it. That's just the way it is. There's just no choice in the matter anymore.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he got a fair shot under Larcamón. I think he played like 2 or 3 games under Larcamón, like actual games where we actually saw him out there, and he produced in those few games. So yeah. I think one whole season under Larcamón, or even in this case Almada, who's also a great coach. Mm-hmm. I mean, they can probably make him a different player, like make him really stand out in this league.
That's a good point out. That's a good point out. I mean, I think in regards to depth, I think obviously it's good to have that depth piece, but I mean, cuando sentó a Ivan, if it wasn't for a card or suspension or anything like that,
Look, I just think that's there's nothing that Byron could do to get his starting job back as long as Ivan is here and healthy. I mean, I think that's the reality of the situation. So you have to move on from a position of strength. I like Ivan. I think Ivan was one of the best right backs in the league this season. And I also like what we saw from Yael Uribe behind him. I mean, I think, and we still have Avion Ramirez there. Like we have a lot of depth. Mexican players also stacked at that position. So I think the writing was just on the wall. The writing has been on the wall for Byron ever since Ivan became the guy. And I mean, that's ideal. That's what you want to happen. You want there to be an internal competition and one guy wins the job. That's just what that is an ideal situation. And when all 3 of your players are Mexicanos, and that's a position of strength, well, even better.
I mean, I think it's a good opportunity, especially since we own Byron's card. I mean, if we want to be able to make any profit out of it, if si tiene una buena temporada con Pachuca, well, then maybe there could be another type of transfer with any other.
Is it a loan or is it a sale?
I thought we bought him.
No. I mean, like, is him going to Pachuca? Is it a sale or is it a loan?
But you know how this is, Carlos. It doesn't. Yeah. If it's between teams, in the group, it doesn't really matter what the details of the transfer are.
I believe Pachuca.
I thought this not be allowed anymore between like Santos and Atlas and Pachuca, and no, I thought like it wasn't going to be allowed. It was going to be
real quick. So Byron is going to Pachuca. That's what I'm gonna say. Is that part of the Kevin Alvarez deal, or I thought that was the deal? Because they're just going to go. It's going to be a loan. You're not gonna buy.
My guess is it would be a loan. I mean, and then the Diorio thing. That's another thing. There, he's said to be on his way to Pachuca as well. But as far as I knew, he's on loan. He's technically on loan to us from Pachuca right now.
No, isn't it Everton? That's why.
Well, Grupo Pachuca from Everton coming to León.
Yes,
He's
it's
Everton.
still cool. Like Everton, I
Yeah.
guess it was a thing at first like wanted him back, and then
Everton
Almada
won it back. Yeah.
preguntó por él. So
Oh, yeah.
Messed
Now
up
I'm not.
Everton.
Now I'm questioning what I read. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Everton wanted him back, right? And because he's on loan from Everton. And then
Yeah.
it was kind of like Almada, and they were like, hey, what about we're trying to make this, like Louis said, this like Trehueco in the players. And if it happens, León gets Viñas, which is it's being said all around. So,
Yeah.
Also Campbell is leaving, right? So
That is also rumored.
yeah, so Louis right. Like if Biden does leave, all I'm thinking is how are they gonna compensate these extranjeros leaving? Because
Well, if Byron
good players.
Diorio and Campbell leave, that's instantly 3 NFM spots
yeah,
wide open.
Wow,
So Viñas is
is the
one. They're talking about Marino Inestrosa from Pachuca,
What
and
about the
also
Oviedo?
and Borja Sanchez from Real Oviedo. Yeah. So that's I mean that's the three replacements right there in the NFM slots. You know, it's nice to know at least. I don't really know much about the guys coming in, but it's nice to know that they're already. I mean, if we're talking about players going out, that they're already thinking about their replacements. I mean, I know these are not position for position replacements necessarily, but they're already thinking about who they're bringing in.
Yeah, and which is good, right? I mean, I think since we've been doing this podcast, one of the things that would always come up was that we hate the fact that these fichajes, these transfer would happen kind of late in the season. We always kind of wanted to happen sooner, around the same time they're doing temporada and stuff like that. So, and this is a good thing. I think that people are understanding, like, you don't like these last minute, because it just felt like in those times it was like whatever was left. So in this case, it just feels like they're actually planning ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, Borja. I've seen a couple of games of Oviedo. So I've seen Borja. I mean, I think he's pretty solid. It's just again the adaptation from Spanish league, the Mexican league, which is very different. So I guess we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, but this whole entire like transfer talk has just been weird. Like you shouldn't be having all these transfer talks right before the biggest
this is
in the history of your team.
But we're living in
I agree.
We're living in an era where these periodistas and people that have this information, they just want to be the first one to get it out, and I think a lot of these things leak.
Exactly.
Well, this is the first time that a Conca Champions final has been scheduled for after the end of a Liga MX season.
That's why it's weird. Yeah.
It's extremely weird, and I get why they did that. I mean, for years, the entirety of the Conca Champions was played when all the MLS clubs were essentially in preseason form, and so they want to make it a little bit more fair. I get that, but it made for. I'm not even sure they anticipated the situation being this strange. Well, I mean, everything changed obviously when León, being one of the best teams in the league, in spite of having faltering a little bit down the stretch and falling out of the top 4 for much of the season, one of the top teams in the league, and certainly favored in the repechaje series or repechaje match against San Luis. Them going out way earlier than expected also changed the whole dynamic of the situation. If they played even if they gotten eliminated in the quarterfinal, like that extra week, I feel like would have meant an eternity. Like, I don't know if we'd be talking about these fichajes in the same way. I mean, it was just such a long layoff between now and finally getting to this final. They got, obviously they're going to get a little restless, and they have to. Yes, this is the most important series in the history of the club, but they do still have to think about next Liga MX season. I mean, it's coming. It's going to come up quickly. Like, they can't just ignore that. It's not like the club history ends as soon as we play this series. No, there's another Liga MX season coming up just a few weeks later, and then the Leagues Cup as well, and the Leagues Cup in earnest, not just the way it was before with a few one-off matches. No, like the actual, honest to goodness Leagues Cup is coming up. They have to think about that too, and then Lord willing, a Club World Cup after that, and you don't just. De un día para otro, you're not going to reforzar el equipo. You have to start thinking about this stuff now. I get it. It's just really weird the way it's all playing out in this span of time before this series.
Yeah. I think that's what makes me nervous. Just where mentally, where are they at? And it's because it's they're hosting the first leg. It's not like they're closing it. Like, they're hosting it. So
Right.
definitely able to more of a pressure to be able to get a decent lead, a good,
Well,
scoreboard, able to
yes, but
close, which is a very close environment. Let's be honest.
yes. But I'm just thinking back 3 years ago when we were all traumatized. We got an excellent result at home, and it didn't matter. Like they need to be thinking over 180 minutes, not like we need to get a good result at home so that we can, just sit back and park the bus and protect it in leg two. No, they have to plan for 180 minutes. They have to play the same way in leg one as they do in leg two. It doesn't matter where they are. Like this Liguilla was a perfect example. 3 teams tried to protect a lead. Three teams got hosed. You just can't play that way in a 180-minute series anymore. You just cannot.
Yes.
You just cannot do that. And we had that last time we played LAFC. We thought 2-0 was enough, especially because they didn't get an away goal. Very important to note, there are no away goals in this final series. This final 2-leg series will be played the same way a Liga MX final would be. No away goals, extra time, and PKs if necessary.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that. The whole away goals thing being part of it always makes me nervous.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad it's kind of just a straight up series. And of course we want to get a good result at home, but we can't. The series does not depend. We cannot think that the series is not. Well, it could be a 0-0. Maybe we get a 0-0 or something, and that just we can't. We have to think that no matter what, we're gonna go up and play to win in Los Angeles too.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, play 180 minutes. Like I think Lacamon against this, I think he understood the job, and then against San Luis, it's one knockout game. Like it's so hard because it's kill or be killed, and the two-legged games is more like a strategic. Like you said, sometimes it's better to even tie el partido de ida, porque muchas veces a lot of teams pecan de Serbia and they feel like they're already under control, and then the other team has like the 3 days to kind of like talk themselves into like no one believes in us, and that's exactly what happened. I think we beat love, especially in the final and in the second half. I believe, and also like you said, a lot of these technicals, the strategy, and I hope like I'm paid attention because I know he does, and don't park the bus. I think one of the best offense that Leon has is their offense, just constantly just attacking every aspect.
Now, that's not to say that our our defense isn't going to play a major role. We were the best over the course of the Liga MX regular season. We were the best defense, and frankly, we have a kind of defense that doesn't really exist in MLS. You're unlikely to find even one defensive player on an MLS club as good as anyone on our back line, let alone 4 on the same back line. Now, our defense is going to have to play an enormous role in the series, but we're not going to. We cannot park the bus against LA. If LA is going to win the series against us, it's going to because of the quality that they have up front, and they're gonna throw everything they have at us. So we just can't. Parking the bus against them will not work. They'll find a way through.
Leon just got to do it against Tigres in those 2 games. Like they were the attacking team, and look at Tigres. Like the fact that they're campeones makes me feel like Leon. Honestly, I'm just gonna say it was like a hot take or whatever, but I think that trilogy against Tigres, when Tigres was eliminated, I think it brought out like the kind of like the quick revenge. Like okay, we it's like if Leon had a second opportunity after being eliminated against San Luis, like it would probably be different because the mentality is different. So it is interesting that like el equipo que look, man, they didn't get tired. I thought like they weren't gonna be able to aguantar esa trilogía con Leon repechaje and then their 6 games, but they did. So I think we beat a really solid Tigres team, and that San Luis game is not. Man, it sucks because it just feels like you could be San Luis, but there's so many things you could say about that game. This LAFC game is gonna be different though. Like Lou said, it's a 180-minute game, so there's got to be is estudiando su rival. I know he's that kind of tactician. He's technically he's up there as a coach. And he's not type like I love Vucetich, but Vucetich is a técnico que vamos con la suya. Like we all know cómo iba a jugar esa with Tigres, and it was unfortunate because like, oh, come on, he's really gonna try to secure the resultado. Pico Vucetich. I love him, but yeah, like Ramon is probably gonna be the kind of coach that's gonna adapt to his rivals and who his opponent is.
I like that you brought up the Trilogía against Tigres because if you remember the second game out of 3, Siboldi decided to play nothing but youngsters in that team. He pretty much put in a string C or D players.
Yeah.
Looking at LAFC, now I don't follow the MLS, so maybe Louis can chime in, but LAFC just used their second string, maybe third string against Galaxy, and they lost. So we talked a lot about momentum heading into these types of games, these huge games.
Yeah.
So LAFC, I mean, they just lost a lot of momentum by giving up one of their, a freebie to the Galaxy, and then now they have to face us.
How many games are they?
Well, they
playing
still
this
have
week?
they still have one more MLS match. If I'm not mistaken, they still have one more MLS match to play before they face us, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of lineup they use. Very interesting. I can't remember who they're playing.
I'm gonna use their starters, right?
I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look that up real quick because I'm actually. No, I'm wrong. Their next match is against us. Yeah.
There you go.
I think they had they were supposed to have when they made the MLS match they were supposed to have this weekend.
Zero momentum.
Got canceled. Yeah.
Yeah. They moved around.
But there
like a lot of games in that week. This week.
Even their MLS form, playing with more or less first choice lineups. They are among the deeper teams in Major League Soccer, but not. I mean, no Major League Soccer team is going to have the same kind of depth as a top tier Liga MX squad. I don't think their depth comes anywhere close to ours. But even their MLS form has been rather hit or miss. They drew 1-1 at home just to bottom of the table Sporting Kansas City. They narrowly beat. They needed a late penalty. They needed a late penalty to beat San Jose Earthquakes at home, who are also rather, not a top tier team. Yeah. They need a late penalty to beat them at home, and before that, also at home, they drew 1-1 with a pretty bad Sporting Kansas City side. So the form it's been hit or miss with this club lately. Throw that all out the window. When you get into a final. I mean, in a final, anything can happen, and they want this badly. We want this badly. This is going to be the first CCL title for whichever team that wins this. I think that, you think about all that kind of stuff and form kind of goes out the window. I mean, our form is obviously we're extremely rested. We're rested and healthy. And LAFC's been playing a ton of matches, and we'll see how all that plays in. I'm really, really curious to see how the first 15, 20 minutes go. At home on Wednesday. Yeah, in Leon.
Yeah. We're healthy and rested. And one of the things I noticed, we haven't even seen anybody tweet about this yet, so maybe you guys know, but Jefecito's back. Are we using him? Is he ready to go? Like, what's going on?
Like back 100%?
Well, I mean, he's been practicing, right? There's been pictures of him practicing, and even he posted on Instagram. He's practicing, so I don't know. Like,
he didn't play against Herediano, right? And I think Herediano lineup is
I don't know. I didn't check the lineup.
It's Platanito looks like he's gonna start. That's who he starts.
Yes, he is.
And Elias looks instead of Jairo. The back line is the one you can imagine. With the one that Louis loves with the CEO at the back. So
well, Tecillo is the best left back on the team right now. I don't think it's particularly close.
Yeah. So it looks good. The only thing I heard people talk about was Elias starting in Jairo, but I don't know, maybe I don't 100%, or maybe
I'd heard a rumor that Jairo maybe wasn't 100%.
Yeah, I heard that too from Cheque. Was it Cheque who reported that?
Mm-hmm.
Paco Montes has his YouTube thing.
But I mean, in terms of the Jefecito thing, I can't imagine him playing a big role. I mean, the contención kind of evolved just fine without him. The dupla of Perro and Fidel has kind of become inamovible, and so if one of those guys takes a knock, which hopefully not, if one of those guys takes a knock, then maybe Jefecito sees some minutes, or if we get out to a multiple goal lead in the first leg, for example, and they want to bring in a contención for an attacking player and have 3 contenciones, like maybe they bring him in then. But I can't imagine him having a super big role.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I'm nervous too, man. It's just you
Same,
got to put it
man.
into
I'm
perspective
nervous too.
and
He's excited, nervous, hopeful, lots of emotions. That is it uncharted territory for the club at this continental level. That is how he's feeling about CPL. Arturo Ruiz stopping by, having all these rumors about
yeah.
players leaving. I don't know how much that affects the squad. Yes, we definitely touched on this. And
Well, a bit like Campbell, who pretty much said, "I'm done, guys, but I want to leave with campeonato de CONCACAF." Like, he just pretty much said, like, if this is my last, which I think it is. I think he's gonna return to Costa Rica.
Yeah, he said it on the radio show.
Right, and he pretty much said, "Look, I think my time here is done in Mexico in general,
Yeah.
but I want to leave con un título internacional. I really want to."
Which is fine. I mean, I think his era's over. You know, he gave what he could to the club.
Yeah.
It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't what we all thought he would be.
And I game against Chivas though.
Yeah, he did show a couple of flashes of like what we wanted him to be. But in the end, you know, you just got to give him a handshake and say, you know, thanks for what you did, and that's it. You know.
Well, you know, I think it's just the dynamic about transfers and player movement is different in soccer than it is in other sports. I mean, think about our favorite documentary, The Last Dance. You know, it's called The Last Dance because those guys knew that the team, no matter what happened, even if they won the championship, the team was going to get
back. So
that the team was going to get dismantled at the end of the season. The difference is in soccer, there isn't really free agency. There isn't really there aren't really trades per se. Like players have less control. I mean, obviously, a player's not going to go where he doesn't want to play.
Yeah.
But at a most basic level, there's less control about where a player's less control about where they go, and so it's all. No. In soccer.
Okay.
Like, because there isn't really free agency in the same way that there is in basketball, practically any other sport. So
for a while.
So player movement is just talked about in a different way. But my point is, very, very good teams making title runs can know that it's their last chance. Like this is, for a lot of these guys are not going to be back no matter what happens. And they can still go on good title runs. So I like to think that the vibes are still good, that the guys recognize this is a business, that they know that, no matter what, even if they win, some guys are not going to be back, win or lose, some are not going to be back. So just go out there and throw everything at the wall. I would like to think that that's how they're looking at it. Maybe some guys will be affected negatively, anímicamente, with this kind of news, but I like to think that it's not that way.
Well, maybe the audio, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, think about it. Like, what happens if like some of these players who are being rumored to be transferred out, like the Yorio and Bidon, what if they show up big and they're the hero in the final, and suddenly like everyone is like, no, you guys have to stay. Like, what if they get offered an extension as opposed to getting transferred out because of that?
I would love them to look at it that way. Yeah,
that's Yorio coming up clutch with like a brace. Away.
Diorio better be thinking like, hey, if I don't do something like to prove that I really need to be here, then he's gonna get traded for sure.
Well, also just in the most basic of terms, this is an enormous stage to be playing on. This is a very big stage to be playing on. There's nothing else going on. There's nothing else going on in Fútbol Mexicano at that time. We are the only game in town between now and next season. So like they will have Fútbol Mexicano's undivided attention, and MLS's undivided attention.
Yeah, and
like they will have North America's undivided attention. I mean, a professional has got to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, they have to understand this could be a game where it's like, for instance, Macias came on a loan in the beginning to Leon. He wasn't even working in a great season. He was. This is an opportunity for these players to be more, as they win championships, their players automatically work more. This is where Louis is saying is absolutely correct. Everybody's going to be talking about this, like in terms of the medios del fútbol North America, for sure, because you're already starting to see it. MLS versus MX. You're going to have a lot of people that, Chivistas, Americanistas, they're going to be like, yeah, vamos León. That's kind of cool, but this is our thing. And the LAFC, I'm going to say it's kind of team. Look, I'm from San Diego, so like I don't have a problem saying it. I want LAFC to be un rival de rivales internacionales de León. Like that game that we were eliminated from like Conca Champions hurt. It hurt as much as the Tigres one. Well, I'm not. This one was the worst because I was there and stuff. So, but it's like these two teams which I have gathered a lot of. I don't know. Like I don't like them. So like, look, this could be a game where they can.
We could be the games. We could be seeing the birth of like the first MLS Liga MX rivalry,
like real rivalry,
like the real rivalry. Because
there's a lot of
Leon have like two games that you know.
Especially because what?
Wait, what?
Especially si llenan allá la gente de León del estadio de Los Angeles, like if they show them, like it's a lot of León people in California.
Well, there will be a good, healthy contingent of León people there. I know that, but let's first worry about filling our own stadium because the way things are going right now. I mean, I don't know if we want to. I don't think we want to get into that topic necessarily, but the way things are, you know, there's I think both sides, both Directiva and Afición, could be doing a little bit better with that whole situation, but we don't have to get into it in detail.
Let's not go into it, but I just want to ask: you guys have tickets for any of the games?
What?
Louis has.
Yeah, I'm all set for both games. Yes.
He's in LA.
Yes, I have my whole trip to LA. It's all planned.
He's even got the LA Galaxy and the Vancouver tickets to go see the League Cup.
No.
Come on.
No, actually, I do have tickets for the game in Vancouver. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I don't know if I'm going to make it to the game against the Galaxy, but I do have tickets for the League's Cup game against Vancouver. I do have that. Yeah.
I knew it. I just knew it. Yeah, I'm going to be there with Louis for the one in for sure. I'm not going to continue being in Leon for one more month.
What about you, Carlos? You want to get tickets? Or do you have to?
I don't have my tickets yet. I mean, looking at those ticket prices, and I don't want to sit in the cheapies either. You know, like if I'm going to see my team win, I want to sit like right there. You know, where I can get like a good video of my team winning. Yeah. And those tickets are an arm and a leg right now. So I'm hoping that with it, in the coming days they'll go down, but we'll see. I'm not the only one who wants to go. You know, my dad wants to tag along, my girlfriend, like everybody wants to tag along. So that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money,
Yeah.
And you're not coming on Wednesday, Cardi?
No,
Wait, what? Where is she? Where are you right now?
I'm in San Felipe, but I have work. Unfortunately,
I work in the morning too. I work.
Yeah. Well, you're there. I mean, to me, it's like
you gotta travel. I'm like literally right here.
Yeah, you're right there.
I was gonna say, Lou, so I usually take my morning walks and sometimes I go to the stadium, and it was empty, man. There was no one because the Directiva tried opening up the butacas, whatever they call it, the
taquilla.
Taquilla. Has this, and it's it looked like there was nobody really trying to buy those tickets. Because one of the things that they were arguing is like, hey, not everybody knows how to buy them online. It was true. It's very true. So it sucks really, but I don't care. That shit is active.
So, talking about the game, so what are we going? Pretty much in a very expected lineup, or are we seeing any possible changes?
I mean, best a lineup available, no other considerations. I mean, we have nothing else going on in our world at this point. This is it. Like,
it doesn't make sense to use any alternate.
Go all out. You know, best players available.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah. I got excited out of nowhere again. I'm getting excited.
Carlos said, "I'll be at the stadium in Leon on Wednesday. Maybe you can meet up with Louis."
Yeah. Well, and Javier will be there as well.
Wait, y'all could do maybe I can find him and do a little preview with you or something.
Well, depends on which puerta he's going to. Yeah.
Well, let's ask him, Carlos, which puerta is it? While he messages back to us. Yeah, I think no.
You're related to Roberto Semenyo, bro. No.
Roberto Semenyo. But I think these guys really have to focus, and it's do or die. I mean, you have to give it all. He said
He's going to
some.
zona A, bro. Sorry, he's going to see zona A.
Oh, well, yeah. That's the other side, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Mm.
1-7, por así.
Okay. Anything else before we do our predictions for the first leg?
Can I add something? What do you guys? Because it's interesting to me. And Carl mentioned it the other day. It's confirmed, right? Carlos Slim and Arturo
you're
Elias
right.
Ayub
Yeah,
are
did
gonna
you
be
guys
at
see
the
the
game.
post? Did you guys see the post that the official
Leon?
page posted on Twitter about mentioning Carlos Slim?
Slim.
You guys remember how back in 2012, 2013, during the Ascenso, he was one of the socios, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a stake in Leon, and then something happened. He ended up leaving, but they posted a video with him in it, and they were talking about something about the next step, or I don't know what. I can't remember, something about like the next step in the journey or something.
They're being ambiguous.
He might be coming back, or he might be owning.
He will be at the game,
team
right?
or something. I don't know.
Well,
look. I think after Jesus Martinez Patiño had interviewed at Fútbol Picante, many people were like, that's still multi-propiedad. And I think,
obviously, when he had a stake in the club, that was some pretty good times for the club. So, I can't imagine. I can't imagine, not having. I don't think he's the richest man in the world anymore, but in the top 10 at least.
But he's
having that person on board, cannot be a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, especially if like they're trying to get rid of the whole like multipropiedad, and they go, okay, well, we're not going to be Grupo Pachuca no more. We're going to be Grupo
Leon.
What is it, Carso?
Oh yeah, Grupo Carso could just come on. That would be a perfect world.
Yeah, there you go.
And then being the owner, because Faitelson asked Patiño, like Jesus Martinez Patiño, like, bro, why didn't you just do that? Like that would have ended this whole problem with you guys in multipropiedad, right? Because they don't like the fact that they said, I'm gonna give it to my son, and we're two different kind of people. And then Fidel Puri was like in an interview saying like, man, who are they trying to fool? And it's kind of true. Like in a way, it's like Louis, with the dudes that we're gonna podcast tomorrow, even they kind of put in a little group chat that we're in, like they think that's wild. I'm like, man, it's just Leon is not 21, but it is kind of like you kind of just want to feel like I hate this little. It's a little thing that I've always hated about Grupo Pachuca, and then people saying, "Oh, que son tus hermanos mayores," and they're like, "Ugh," it doesn't feel good with me. Like I think Leon is tan grande, and I have nothing but appreciation for Grupo Pachuca and Jesus Martinez Patiño, because they did everything para traer el equipo desde el infierno hasta la primera división. But that being said, like I wouldn't mind ending this whole multipropiedad nightmare. And I think another thing that was happening was that el Estadio de León el Club León asked el Ayuntamiento de León for some money for a loan, which they declined. They gave like $1 million to Bravos, they gave $1 million to Las Migueras, el equipo femenil de básquetbol de León, but they denied it Club León. So I kind of just felt like maybe they're kind of like going to Carlos Slim, like, hey man, come on, we're homies, we're friends. Just give me like, you're the richest man, you're like the richest Mexican of all time, bro. Just give me like $5 million. What's $5 million to you? And maybe
maybe we can finally get rid of this guy here.
Well, isn't that Grupo? Yeah. Doesn't Grupo Carso own Cemento Fortaleza?
Oh, I don't know. No idea.
I have to go to my sources.
Stuff like that. I guess
we'll see what happens. Who knows what happens? Yeah.
On the chat, Luigi Garcia says estaremos presentes con todo el aguante en el BMO Stadium Sunday.
Los tienen que llenar absolutamente todo.
Angel said if Leon put 6 behind a team that LAFC ties with and they beat the guys that won the CCL last year, we should be confident.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think this Tigres was a little. I don't know. It's a good exercise to do in your head. Like we did beat a really good Tigres team, right? Was it?
We did beat a really good Tigres team. I mean, they clearly hadn't found that extra gear yet.
Yeah.
But they were already a good. I mean, that's no matter what their format is on. I mean, what kind of form they're on, I should say. Their roster is always stacked.
Yeah, and they also have that mentality of just winning and just kind of they've been there before. And a lot of people were saying that's going to be a factor against Chivas and Tigres. People said, no, it's not because the momentum. And it's like, both are true. Now the thing about that, I think that happened with Tigres, that I think might happen with León, es esa espinita que I think Tigres had when they were eliminated from the Conca Champions. It's like, well, now all we have is this. Well, all León have is la final de la Conca Champions. Quieren salvar a su eliminated the way they did, and they saw how. I mean, some players are crying because they know like we let the whole season down. And después de la pérdida de Don Antonio Carvajal, I really think that these players got to put it in their head that they got to go out there and make history. They got to go out there and play their hearts out like never before. So hopefully it's sometimes we don't know why things happen like this on these games, but maybe it's for a reason. Maybe it's we get arrested, whatever. I don't know.
Well, we said then, and I stand by it now. Anything that happened before was worth it if we win this title.
Yeah,
it was worth. I mean, the repechaje was disappointing, but it's worth it if we win this title.
Yeah,
it's absolutely worth it if we win this title.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Then I will not know what to say.
If what?
We're gonna win it.
If we don't win,
then
no, we're gonna win it. They're gonna win it. I don't care. We're gonna win it.
Anxious.
¿Es
I
fracaso?
would be anxious.
¿Es fracaso if we don't win?
Huh?
¿Es fracaso? Like,
yeah.
If we don't win, really?
Yeah. I think
come this far on a coach that just got
yes.
here.
Because Tigres just won the Liga MX and they tied León. Then you realize that
Carlos doesn't want to talk about it, Javi.
No, the
perfectly. I'm fine talking about it. You know who I preferred in that final. It's no secret.
Yeah. And people like I don't know which one to go for, but at the end of the day, at none, I thought whatever happened is gonna be irrelevant to what León needs to focus on, which is being más grande.
Well, if we don't win it, then we'll just do what all the Chivas fans are saying right now. You have to be in a final to lose one.
But you can't be celebrating. That's the thing. Like we celebrated because we beat Tigres and we never been this far in Conca Champions, and we know that we want to win this international title. So I do think it's one of those games where if we have to look at it as está en deuda con su historia, and like I said, if they win this, they'll have 19 titles oficiales, which would be fourth of all time. They're only behind Cruz Azul, Chivas, and America. They're tied with Toluca with 18. But I think that's another thing that you said, León es por sus otros títulos, no más de Liga.
So let's say we do win it. Let's say we do win this CCL. Who's going to Saudi Arabia?
I'm gonna try my darndest.
Louis definitely gonna go. I mean, I'm not gonna front, man. I don't even want to go to Saudi Arabia. Like,
it'll be in December. I'll probably have to ask for 2 weeks off from the orchestra, but I'm gonna try my darndest. I would definitely try my darndest to go. Luckily, they've in recent years that used to be one of the hardest countries in the world to travel to. Now, in recent years, they've lightened their visa restrictions for tourists. So I would definitely try to go. I have a friend over there who I met here in my language exchange that I run here in Guanajuato. So maybe it could happen. Maybe it could happen.
Going back to Carlos's question, if we don't win, is it a fracaso?
Oh, yeah.
I really have to think about that just because I feel like León and CCL me ha decepcionado mucho in the past couple of years, and I think year after year I'm like lowering my expectations. Like I've said, like it's game by game. Like, so I feel like I'm gonna say yes. If we don't win, it's un fracaso.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I'm gonna ask Louis, who's gonna be there, and Luigi Garcia, who just posted gonna start. How are you guys gonna feel if you guys are there in that stadium and you see Carlos Vela levantar la Champions? Is it gonna feel like?
I'll probably leave. I'll probably leave before you can touch the trophy.
Yeah, it's fracaso.
I'm just gonna wait to see that.
Not only is it fracaso, it'll be gut wrenching. It'll just be. What'll be the worst?
But
we're gonna win. We're gonna win. We're gonna win.
I'm saying it not because of La Campeona. You know what I mean? I say it because of the team itself. Because obviously, La Campeona has done so much with his team, so many great things that we've seen. Players that he's brought. Like obviously, we've said. I think Ivan Moreno is like the best ¿cómo se llama? Jugador for León this season. So I think just fracaso and just I don't know. It's weird. It just puts me in a weird situation. I think I've just been very frustrated with the CCL runs in the past, and I think we're out of final, and we should be able to, get it. Like, you know what I mean? I think in regards to, I'm just the mentality of the players is what I'm like anxious about. Tomorrow, how are they going to be mentally, and also at home, how are they going to be mentally, or also away on Sunday, how are they going to be mentally if they're going to be able to close the game? That's, I think, what I'm more anxious about. But I do believe if we don't win, it's a fracaso. Maybe I don't know, hot take, a median tip, I like take, but I think it is because I feel like we have gone so far after so many embarrassing moments through CCL. Come on, like it's like cuando nos va a tocar? You know what I mean? Cuando nos va a tocar?
Yeah, I think it's fracaso card.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, we just have
I love what we were trying to do, but
we have such a huge opportunity here to completely erase that unfavorable history in CCL. And if we don't finish the job, it's just not gonna feel right.
Also, el equipo cuenta. Like, I don't want to lose to LA. Like, I don't. Like, I don't. I never need to. Never want to lose to LA. So I'm Leon.
Who do you guys think? Who do you guys think feels more pressure to win it? Us or them?
Us.
Because they've already been on this. They've already been in the final and they lost it.
But
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing. That's a bigger fracaso. You're right. Because if now they're back in the final. They lost it. And they have to. It's 2 in a row. You know, you're becoming a Cruz Azul. You become Cruz Azul. So it's kind of like, well, Cruz Azul back in the Villalobos era. But yeah, I think it's a bit more. Will be fracaso also for them. Look, it's historically, Liga MX teams have always won this championship, right? I think only
except for last year.
Yeah. Well, also the year.
So there's
Saprissa won and beat Pumas again. So Pumas had
but that was not the same tournament, Javi.
No, it wasn't. But still, we count all the champions from 1970 up to today.
Most people these days are only taking into consideration the Conca Champions in its current form.
Yeah, I mean, that can be true, but it's like América, Cruz Azul, number 87, los de Pachuca. 2006 wasn't that far away. It was actually a time where like people were and that time I think also Liga MX wasn't even Conca Champions. Como importante because they play Sudamericana and Libertadores. So even then, like, but what I'm trying to say is that historically, Liga MX was won it, right? So and the pressure is coming from the people in those medios saying that I'm not going to lose to MLS. I can never see Hercules Gomez, who's always in MLS teams, and see them, getting to this whole like. So you're gonna have a lot of people talking, a lot of pundits talking about this game, and that's where the pressure is gonna come. Yeah. I think we don't have the pressure. But who knows? LAFC also has pressure, man, because they've been there before. You're right, Carlos.
Yeah. If we win, I'm gonna cry. If we
yeah, I do cry, man. I'm
serious. Like, that's a historic moment, like in the club's history, and you're actually there to see it.
Yeah.
The second thing I could think of being to do for that final is I'm gonna be in the Chapultepec, right there, Palacio de la Calzada, and if we win, I still want to celebrar la gente there for sure. That's what we should have gone, Louis, by the way, in that final. But Tldp was good. It doesn't exist anymore.
I like Chiltepinos. We had a whole screen to ourselves. It was cool.
But it doesn't exist anymore. R.I.P.
Luigi on the chat said, I just don't see LAFC beating Leon. Has everything to beat LAFC. Leon has everything to beat LAFC. These LAFC doesn't have the squad they had last time we played them. They had more known players. Keep calm, Club Leon. Got this.
I understand you, Luigi. It's easy to say stay calm, but like we're the people out here talking, and then we get all the so it's kind of like it's nerve-wracking because like we don't want to be pretentious and be like, we got this, and we're trying to be very humilde.
Honestly, I'm not so sure I agree that the squad that we played against them then was better than the one they have now. I just can't in good conscience agree with that statement. I'm sorry, Luigi.
They're better now.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
And they have
Yeah, Louis.
They have
I really don't know anything about.
they have who will be widely considered the best player on the pitch. I don't know if that's actually a true statement, but who will be widely considered the best player on the pitch is Denny Bouanga, who's just been he's been tearing up. Who's been tearing up MLS.
He's from like Gambia or
I want to say Gambia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he is pretty good, man.
Oh,
Chat
Pedro
said,
Romero got that on lock.
start making memes. Is it jinxing?
Depends on the meme.
Historically, yes, you're jinxing the team. Don't start making memes until right after the second game.
Come on, we don't want
finishes.
Chivas. What happened to them? They're already celebrating.
Carlos, so you said
Yeah.
you're gonna cry, but if we lose, are you still gonna cry?
No, I don't think so. Because I'd be like, I already saw this happen once, more than once. You know, so I'd just be like,
It's hard for me to cry. I've never cried. I've only ever cried. The last time I ever cried for Leon, like cuando ascendimos. But because I came from crying all my life de las finales. After
When we lost to Atlas, I cried. Recently, I cried. When we lost to Atlas.
No, I didn't cry. I just took the
I
L
didn't
and
cry.
I was like, it's okay. I think it's okay. I saw them
cry.
win a year ago against Pumas. It's okay.
And then like we were there, we didn't cry with Puma. We were just happy. Yeah, it's fine.
But CCL is different because like it doesn't come around every year. You know,
that's what I'm saying.
It's true. A year.
What Carlos is saying is true because this is how many? It's almost 80 years de historia. Y León no tiene un título internacional. So and it's not like because they've been there before. They've had many opportunities. Back when they got champions, like Louis was saying, back in the 70s, it wasn't like the competition that it is today. It was like 4 teams maximum, right? And sometimes, in ocasiones, it was just el equipo que fue campeón en México contra el equipo que fue campeón in Costa Rica, which was, I think, the one that they lost when they were champions in 1992. They had a chance to win the Coca Champions and they lost. Yeah. All that being said, like it's just la impotencia de no poder ganar un título internacional when it's been presented. So yeah, it is a long way coming if they do win that one, because then it would just feel like what just happened, Tigres siendo campeón. I mean, look, now that El Quinto it's getting annoying. And I kind of recently put, look, man, we're going to talk about tradición y títulos, then León and Toluca are in the conversation, but if we're going to talk about like recently and whatever, it is what it is. But then that's nothing. I can't hate on Tigres then. I should just focus on León and be like, hey, you guys are also wasting opportunities. That loss against Tigres and Atlas, not winning Conca Champions. They got to win these titles.
But I mean, the project as a whole over the last 10 years, I mean, since the Ascenso, I mean, it's been uphill. I mean, it's been a difficult it's been slow, but it's difficult but slow progress. Yeah. Because I don't know if you remember, but I think Rafa Marquez once said, like, when I first signed with León, we were still sitting in plastic chairs. Yeah. It was one regadera, and like, that's how that's where the team comes from,
Yeah, there's still now
you're gonna win, and you're on the brink of winning a CCL.
Yeah, it's been a long way coming. That's true. Yeah. They think about when they lost.
It's a long time coming, but I mean that wasn't that long ago that Rafa Marquez is talking about. It's a big jump in a pretty relatively, in terms of the entire team history, relatively short period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're about to go to 10-year anniversary to the Bicampeonato, so it's that's still kind of fresh. El Ascenso. So, right, Carlos. I said if they were to sell Club Pachuca was for the right reason, right? You want to piense mal. I want that to happen just because I think people just kind of put us in the bag. We're like, I don't know. It's how it sounds. Like, in my opinion, I don't think it's how it sounds. But let's look at a León para lo compre Carlos Carso. And I'll be happy, but not because I'm not appreciative. Pachuca, con la Esmeralda y con todo lo demás que han hecho, I am very appreciative. Like, man, León, in 2005, 2006, I tell people when it came to León, because I didn't have one, my uncle said, equipo malo, ¿para qué quieres? Because they're in second division. I don't care, we're from León, we should go to León. I don't care, they're in second division. So my cousin took me to downtown León. We walked for hours. We didn't get not a single jersey de León. Estando en el centro de León, así de olvidado estaba el equipo. And I have to say, it was León out here in downtown City, León mueve mucha economía y mueve muchas cosas aquí. So it's a long way coming, and that wasn't that long ago. So yeah, I think there's still more. I think this decade could probably, hopefully, that's my wish. This decade could be more happiness.
Definitely. Okay, guys, let's go to prediction time so we can kick off.
Prediction time!
Just love how that sounds. Just the echo, you know. Prediction time. Anybody in the chat is still there? Please let us know your predictions, guys. Do you want to do first leg, or just
Let's do both.
Are we,
Yeah, both, right?
Are we gonna?
final?
Yeah, just
I agree.
who knows if we'll be able to pot again before leg 2. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be on Sunday, so
Let's do
we'll be after.
final score. Let's start with you, Javi, because you're getting darker and darker. So before we
the sun was my light. I should turn on the lights. I just got lazy. Yeah, good call, Curry. You guys can't see me. Entonces mi marcador global, my prediction del global is gonna be León 5, LAFC. I don't want to be that close. 3. Vamos, León. 5-3 global.
okay, all right.
very high scoring game, predicting 8 goals. Louis, your final score and who will be campeón on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a rather conservative, measured 2-1, leg 1 here at home. Leon wins 2-1. 1-1 draw in leg 2, 3-2 global. Leon is campeón.
Carlos.
Yeah, I think our defense is not going to completely shut them down, but we are going to contain them, and we'll have just enough quality up front to push 3 goals through, and that'll be enough to get us to the promised land.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I don't think our defense is going to completely stop them, but I think our defense was obviously we were the best in Liga MX. I think we'll let 1 or 2 slide through, but I'm going to go with Global 4-2 León.
Oh, you guessed mine. I was going to do that for you. I'm with Carlos. I think 4-2 and Leon will be comfortable. My little heart can't take it.
I'm saying 3-1 in Leon, and 2-2 over there in LA. Okay. That's what I say 5-3.
5-3. Anken said, if La Virgen hears my prayers, 3-0 at the Nou Camp and 2-1 in LA. I love that intro.
Mucha gente le pidió la Virgen de la Luz this past weekend. So.
Carlos Vega said, Wednesday, Leon 2, LAFC 0, and the team lifts the trophy in LA.
Carlos Niño, I believe Roberto Cerveño. You haven't answered that question. Makes me want to think
Luigi Garcia said, first leg, 3-1 Club Leon. Luigi, what about the second leg?
Yeah, Luigi. And where's Mario?
Really?
I don't know, guys. I'm trying to make this.
We'll see if he gives us his second leg, but I think we're looking very hopeful. We're very, very hopeful, especially in the chat as well. So
I don't know, but I feel like we're all a little too over optimistic here. I think it's probably going to be a little closer.
Carlos. No.
That's why I said 2-1. I said 2-1-1-1. I stayed conservative. Yeah.
Glorious partidazo de León.
There you go,
I want it
Javi.
to be close. Yeah, I still need wait card. ¿Qué dice? Pero
see. Javi's like that. Javi's like that. Still doesn't answer my question.
I know you can't make it, bro. Come on, give me some tickets.
Yeah, I agree with you, Carlos. I feel like it would be really ballsy if one of us on here said we're gonna lose. We're not gonna do it. I think we're just very optimistic as we are. But si se puede, and anything can happen. Anything can happen. We just said 2-2 Club León in LA. He's also predicting a high scoring game.
Oh, he has mine.
Yes, you
5-3.
Yeah,
3. There you go.
yeah.
That's
This
what I
could be
think too, man.
this could be a boring final, or it could be
But
madness.
what if the Leon
Madness.
0-0 and then over there it's like 1-0? Now we'll be
Yeah.
laughing. Yeah.
I don't know.
Con que ganemos, como que están 2 goles de ellipse, I don't care. Like, we
Yeah,
won that.
even if it's a 1-0 here, then a 0-0 there, whatever. It doesn't really matter.
How's LAFC's defense?
Yeah,
Not anywhere close to ours. I'd say they're league average for MLS.
Okay.
that's what I was thinking.
I mean, they have
He was saying,
they have Aaron Long and they have Walker Zimmerman, 2 above average MLS center backs.
I don't think
And
so.
of course they have Chiellini on the bench
yeah.
still, but he's obviously not the Chiellini of old. So
Of course.
I didn't.
Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and take off. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Thank you for Angel Delgado, Arturo Ruiz, Carlos Hermeño, Luigi Garcia, everybody who's very interactive, sharing your thoughts, sharing your predictions with us. Thank you. We're very hopeful. We'll see what happens Wednesday night. Hopefully it's a good atmosphere. We'll see in the next couple of days if any more tickets get sold and how the ambiente looks. I think they're planning doing a mosaico, no, at the Estadio León.
Yeah, something.
Something like
you don't
that.
feel it.
You gotta light up the streets green.
Definitely. But yeah, and after that, final on Sunday. So we'll definitely see how that second leg goes and who will be campeón of this UCL. So much happening for Leon. Hopefully a good one, and then we'll see after what happens in postseason, because obviously Liga MX new season is right around the corner as Leagues Cup, and we'll definitely see lots of movements with transfers as we're already hearing. So we'll definitely see what the end of that will be, and after that we'll definitely continue on to talk about a new season of the pod with the new tournaments coming up. So thank you for everybody that joined us via YouTube and Periscope on Twitter. Carlos, hopefully you get tickets that won't cost you that much, and Javi and Lily, enjoy the game on Wednesday, and
we will
see what happens. So thank you guys for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and arriba la fiera.
Arriba. Ya va.